Street Fighter, whether you like it or not, is a really good game. There is so many good things about Street Fighter, and then there's so many bad things about Street Fighter. When I streamed the game, I had a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs, because I'm kind of bad at the game. But we don't talk about that. Obviously, there's some memorable lines that people say, like Hadouken and Shoryuken and all those cool things. But we're here to talk about a memorable mechanic that hasn't returned since, according to Google, because I did Google it to see if it was still like a thing, but they said it's kind of a thing. It's not. Who cares? But it's not a thing anymore. We're talking about the bosses, the boss battles from the arcade days, because I did recently stream all of those games. If you want, go check it out. I'll make sure to put the link in the description if I remember, because I don't really make YouTube videos, like I said. But when you ask arcade final bosses, I'm gonna explain. For the people who don't know, the newer generation people, or just the people who's never played fighting games in their life, final arcade bosses is referring to when you play a normal arcade ladder, preferably on Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and you choose a character that looks cool to you or is your favorite character, and you basically fight a series of opponents until you get to stage 8, or for some other events it's probably stage 4, I don't know, later, stage 12. You run into a character who is very unfair, I would say, and pretty strong, very, very button reading, pretty memorable for all the bad things. That's what we're gonna call a final boss of the ladder arcade. And that is why I included Seth, because Seth is basically there in all of the final fights of Street Fighter 4, so he's the exception. So, I have a tier list right here. All the final bosses are on it, all the way from Street Fighter 1 to the Alpha games and to Street Fighter 4. And you're probably wondering, why just M.Bison from Alpha 3? Well, I did Google that one as well. I played Alpha 1 and 2 just to back it up. There's no final bosses in those games, so I couldn't really find like an actual like reason to put Alpha 1 and 2 in the game. Also, since we're talking about disclaimers, I did not add any of the Street Fighter EX final bosses. I don't even know if they have final bosses. I've never managed to play Street Fighter EX. That game is pretty hard to acquire at the moment, so I can't really include that. Also, I wanted to put like different versions of Street Fighter 2 bosses in the game, but I didn't feel like doing that. And also, it's kind of hard to separate them all just like that. So we're just gonna go like all Street Fighter 2 games combined for M.Bison, Sagat, Vega, and Balrog. And that should be all the rule changes that I added to it. I hope you guys can understand that. Oh, and one more thing. The Street Fighter 2 bosses in general, the reason I included Balrog, Vega, and Sagat is because they technically count as Street Fighter bosses in every single Street Fighter 2 game you play. They're the 4 final characters that you fight. It's guaranteed. There's no changes to that. The only difference is if you like beat them flawlessly or don't lose a round and then you get like Akuma in the later Street Fighter 2 games. But that should be everything. Let's just get on with the tier list. Alright, I'm just gonna start in order from like oldest Street Fighter to newest one. So we're gonna do Sagat from Street Fighter 1. I would say Sagat is a pretty difficult opponent only because of the bad Street Fighter mechanics. Other than that, he does spam some moves too, which makes it a little like annoying to deal with. But it's not really much to say about Sagat. Like, he doesn't really say anything. He kind of just spams like Tiger Shot and Tiger Knee most of the time. And the controls are just very stiff. So I guess I'll just put him in pretty challenging tier. Like, he's probably going to be the only one I don't really talk about as much. I do like his theme song though. His theme song is little like, it's pretty good for a Street Fighter 1 game theme song. But other than that, there's not really much to say about Sagat, so we'll just call that quits on Street Fighter 1. Alright, and now we're already in Street Fighter 2, one of the most popular Street Fighter games of all time, arguably. So we're just kind of going to start off in order from here as well. We're going to just start with Balrog, because he's the first boss that you encounter before you get to like the other 3. I would say like my first time ever like dealing with Balrog it was kind of a crazy experience, but once you get used to it, you can beat him pretty quickly, because Once you see that he only has like 1 or 2 super moves that he only does to you, sometimes he'll go for the low, and it depends on the Street Fighter 2 game that you're playing. He's pretty predictable. I beat him in basically a few tries after I understood what he does. All I did was just stand in a corner and he kept doing like dashing jab uppercut repeatedly. Sometimes he would do a mid, which would catch me off guard. And then like on rare times he would do a low, which would ruin my day. But besides that, he really goes for the dashing uppercut. He's pretty like predictable, like really predictable. So I'm gonna just say it took a few tries for him. He might be the easiest boss on this list if I'm being honest. Like more of a tutorial boss probably. But here's where it gets a little harder. We're gonna go to Vega. Vega, for me, has been a really big struggle. Like, I can't even put it into words how difficult Vega is. Just at the worst of times. I've retried on Vega so many times. Like, if I went into the arcade with $10, Vega's at least taking $8 from me. I'm just saying, Vega was that difficult for me. He has so many, for a character with limited moves in the first few Street Fighter 2s, all the way to the end when he had like his full arsenal, he has been a problem even when he's only had 1 or 2 moves. And then obviously he has the map too, like the stage with the catchy theme song. I actually like the theme song. I'm probably gonna play that instead of Balrog's. Sorry, Balrog. But like everything about like Vega is just very intense. It's very intense, not intimidating, but just scary. Like he's so unpredictable to where it just makes me scratch my head when I'm fighting him. And he rarely does super moves. All he does is rely on his pokes. Like he likes to just do like a crouching jab. Maybe he might lunge when he's standing and do a jab. Or if he's feeling like playing with his food, he'll climb on the cage, sit there for a minute, and then you have to perfectly time the counter, because if you don't, or if you miss an input, he'll jump down, hit you with the Izuna drop, or hit you with the slashing claw, which is the move that I caught the most, honestly. And then like in the newer games where you knock his claw off, he can become even more deadly because he won't even rely on his range anymore. He'll do the rolling little like ball move, and then he'll punch you, and it's just annoying. Like I honestly hate Vegas so much. He's like, and on top of that, he's really fast. Like I don't understand why his speed is like really fast. But for me, that experience was terrible, and I can imagine for the people back in the arcade days that was pretty bad as well to deal with. So I'm gonna just put Vega in the very annoying tier. He probably won't be alone in this tier, but he's definitely the creator of the very annoying like category. I literally made this category just for Vega, so he's definitely earned the right to be on this tier. Now next, this one's really personal for me. We're gonna talk about Sagat. He is the main reason behind this idea of me building the tier list anyways, because there is no reason why Sagat is this big of an issue. I have no idea what the developers were thinking when they made all of his moves extremely fast, extremely plus, and extremely spammable. Literally every time. Every Street Fighter 2 game I played, because I played 5 in a row on that streak. Every Street Fighter 2 I played, not only was I like scared to go against Vega, I was dreading Sagat. I'm like, Sagat is gonna give me a terrible time. It was to the point where it was just normal. Like I just expected Sagat to keep me on the game for another 30 or maybe 20 minutes. With that alone, I feel like he qualifies for the legit nightmare tier, and I really want to put him there. But when I think about it and how long it's taken me to beat him, like on every single Street Fighter 2 I played, I'll just put him in very annoying. He's like almost up there to like where I'm just gonna lose my mind, but I think he's just very annoying. Okay, and next we have the final boss, M.Bison, who's kind of not really that big of a threat to me. There's been multiple times where, like, even on the first Street Fighter 2, I've beaten him pretty quickly, like within like a few tries. but it was only because I was using characters like Ryu or Ken, because I was going back and forth from Ryu and Ken to like different Street Fighter 2s, and he wasn't really that big of a threat for me. Like, obviously he had some moves that was a little scary to take, but once I got used to it, kind of like Balrog, I was able to defeat him pretty quickly. And I can see that from another player's perspective, or depending on the character you use, because I know like charged characters will probably be harder to use. And also, like, I used M.Bison on the very last time I played Street Fighter. He was pretty hard to use against like the final boss M.Bison. So it kind of like told me like, okay, charged characters might be more of a struggle to use on this game against like M.Bison. So it kind of humbled me a little bit to like kind of an understanding of the struggle of using like different characters other than Ryu, Sagat, and Ken. Because when you use like a Psycho Crusher, it's like very easily counterable to like by bosses like M.Bison or Balrog, because Balrog was pretty much countering me as well, like when I was using a charge character. So I don't think I'll put him in took a few tries to beat. I'll just put him a tier higher. He was pretty challenging. I don't really think he gets any harder than that. I think he was just pretty challenging. And you guys are gonna be a little disappointed in me, but out of all the Street Fighter 2s I played and all the times I played them, I was not able to make it to Akuma, actually. So I made a special tier for him because I just did not want to go through that hell of replaying a Street Fighter 2 again. It's a good game, but it was torture for me. Like, just trying to beat Vega and Sagat like without losing will literally make me rip my hair out and probably put like 8 holes in my wall. So I'm just gonna put Akuma and never fought him. And we can just move on. Sorry, Akuma. Okay, and now we are in Street Fighter Alpha territory now, because I was like going in order from the games, and Alpha 3 was the next game before I met Gill, which I can't wait to talk about Gill. But we have M.Bison, actually. He is the pure definition of input reading robots. Like, I just don't understand. Like, all the times I've lost to M.Bison on Alpha 3, they were all just upset victories. Like, they were all very close fights. And I've had, like, all of my fights with Bison has been a close fight. I just happened to keep losing at the very end when both of our health bars were low because of just some nonsense where he decides, you know what, I'm gonna stop button mashing as an AI and start turtling and button reading, or he perfectly times his special move that takes away like 90% of your health, the Psycho Crusher, and it just ruins my day entirely. Like, I've never seen a character like that. He's pretty, like, when you go against him, he's pretty easy to fight, but like he's just good at pulling a clutch victory on you every single time, and it'll just have you like, wow, like, is he really just doing this to me right now? So I feel like I'll probably put him in, I would say that Bison is pretty annoying. I don't really think he'll go any higher. I think he's just pretty annoying, like barely in there. I don't even know how to put it into words, how much I genuinely hated going against Gill. But the fact that Gill was able to successfully keep me on stream doing the same boss fight for 2 hours and 30 minutes straight is enough to be put on legit nightmare. You don't even want to know the terror he put me through for those 2 hours and 30 minutes. And as I'm just getting beat to death, it was kind of my fault because I was using like Sean, like from like the very first Street Fighter. I wasn't playing Third Strike. I'm talking about like the very first Street Fighter. And like what I didn't really know about Street Fighter like 3 New Generation is that like Sean doesn't have all of the moves in his arsenal. So it kind of made him pretty bad for like the very first Street Fighter 3. And it was just like a torture fest of Gill just legit like input reading. Like his lariat is it's basically unblockable. Like I can explain it and you guys will be like, wow, that actually sounds pretty unfair. Like when he hits you with the lariat, and like if you're really close to him and he does the lariat, you have to block the other way, which means you have to walk towards him to block the lariat. If you're far away, you could just walk back and block normally. But if you don't know that you have to block the other way while he's really close to you, the move will come off as unblockable. And the lariat is really fast. So if you're trying to pressure him in a corner, or if he's trying to pressure you, or he just hits a lariat just off rip and decides to start spamming it, you won't really know how to react because of how fast it is. Like, it's almost impossible to parry it. There's been times where I parried the lariat like on accident, just by walking backwards due to panic blocking. And then that's just like the tip of the iceberg on his moves. Like, the moves in his arsenal are so unfair and annoying. I honestly don't even know how I managed to beat him. But there's like a bright side. He gets easier the later the Street Fighter 3 games you fight on. Like Street Fighter Second Impact. This is kind of why I wanted to split up Gill specifically, because on Street Fighter Second Impact I beat him on the first try, like with Sean, and it was basically like just pure torture for Gill. I embarrassed him, and he wasn't even that strong on third strike either. So I don't know. If we're just talking about all the Gills from all three of the Street Fighters, I will mainly focus on Street Fighter 1 Gill. That would, like, the new generation one, I feel like he's a legit nightmare. I think he is the only one who's legit nightmare. But if you guys like have like an issue with that, you could just say like, oh, if you beat him the first try on the other two games, then just put him lower. But I'll never forget those 2 hours and 30 minutes. I probably will never ever like forget at all. Like, that was the worst like 3 hours of my life ever that I just experienced with Gill. So I'm gonna probably just leave him in legit nightmare. Alright, and now we are on Street Fighter 4. And we're talking about the guy, the homie, Seth. Obviously, he is, in a quick way to explain it, he's everything that a final boss should be. He literally has stolen moves, the good moves, from every character in the game. And basically, the cherry on top is he's able to read buttons and do all of this unfair nonsense stuff. I kind of wish I played the game a little more recently, because I think the last time I played it was like either the beginning of this year or probably like late last year. And I had to rewatch my YouTube video to see how hard he was, because if I didn't, I would have put him somewhere in like, oh, it took a few tries or something like that. But I can see that I'm actually struggling. So but let's talk about some mechanics actually, because I'm not just gonna just put him in a tier list and not really say anything about him. The thing is with Seth is he's very aggressive. You really don't get any time to breathe. Like, the only way to beat him is to either like time your counters really wisely or just get aggressive back. Me, I chose to get aggressive back, which might have been my downfall, but I later found out that I could just cheese him in certain ways, because when you're extremely close to him, he'll most likely either shoryuken you or he'll just do a grab. And I kind of gambled most of the time on just like him grabbing so I could like dodge it or something like that. But like earlier into my fights, I wasn't gambling. I was just kind of like doing my charge pressure like I always do. It's pretty basic. But he's pretty good with his combos as well. All he needs to do is touch you one time and you're basically cooked. Or if you're in a corner one time, you're basically like obliterated. So he's kind of powerful. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way I beat him was kind of hilarious. All I was doing was like jumping every time he got up, and so he could like whiff a grab and then hit him with a Tatsu. And that was only with Ken. So if that works with Ken, I don't even want to know what other characters have to go through with Seth on the hardest difficulty. So I feel like for that reason, I'm just gonna put him on very annoying, just because I don't want to know what he's capable of when I'm using someone else. So yeah, I think that's where he's gonna be at. All right, and that just about does it for my tier list, I tried to be as neutral as I could. Obviously, the feedback of you guys matters, because I really don't know anything about Street Fighter as much as I should. Like, I've played them all, but I feel like you guys would know more. You guys have probably replayed the game more and used more characters. So if you disagree, let me know why. Tell me in the comments what I did wrong, or how your guys' experiences went. Like, I'm open to seeing it and hearing it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I really don't do a lot of YouTube videos like this, but I'm trying to get back into it. I say that all the time, but I'm really trying this time. So I hope I did a pretty good job on my awkward commentary. But yeah, this is the Street Fighter tier list, you know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and feel free to like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. I'll try to remember to put the link to my Twitch and everything that I stream on in the description, so I could help you guys out if you guys want to check me out and catch my streams, because I stream basically every day around like 7 p.m. to like midnight, so it's pretty easy to catch me. But on another note, guys, you guys have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and peace out.